It's been a long time. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's been too long. Hold on. Bird gang, baby. Bird gang, baby. Bird gang. I am currently editing. I have a vlog coming up right now on my home and just like all about me channel, NikkiStar at home. But I'm currently editing my Philly vlog because I was there for like a family event and I ended up just being there in time for the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl parade. But the Philly vlog is insane. The Philly vlog is insane. I'm telling y'all right now, it's crazy. It's a mess. I'm not myself. Like some things have happened. It's insane. But Bird Gang, baby. Bird Gang, baby. Fly, eagles, fly. We did it! How are you all doing? Let's get into it. I cannot find my tambourine. But I'm going to find it. I don't know where it is, but I'm going to find it. What's up, India? How are you? India said, going to have to make the playback. Have a wonderful night, fam. Oh, I totally understand. I forget that I'm on the West Coast now. So I think for some of you, fly, eagles, fly. I think I know for some of you, this is a little too late. And I apologize. But you know, your girl is working. Your prayers have been answered. Your prayers have been answered. Thank you so much, Darthea. Hallelujah. But once my schedule gets a little bit more open, I'll do earlier lives. But I'm so sorry, India and my East Coast fam. I'm going to try to do earlier lives as soon as the schedule permits. What's up, poor man? Poor man's pillow talk. I know that's right. Hi, Star fam. How are you, poor man's pillow talk? Blue Jay said, had to stop Trixie and Katia podcast and make sure I put the notification in for this live. I love them. I love Trixie and Katia. I am going to do a live for Drag Race. I wanted to do the live for this show, for Love is Blind and Drag Race on Monday, but schedule is crazy. But I'll do it this week. Blue Jay said, and Prayer Warriors, I need Palestinian Jesus. I know that's right. With the 3B curls. Probably 4C or 4B. I think he had 4B curls. No, 4C. 4C, because you remember Corey from what is that show? Corey in Topanga. Corey got 4C hair. And he white. Anyway, I am going on an on-site interview for a new store. Pray that it will happen and I will move with confidence, or that it happens later. Amen. Prayer warriors, we gotta pray for Blue Jay, Palestinian Jesus with the 4B curls, 4C curls. Please come see about our Star family member Blue Jay, who is going on this interview at a new store. We pray that you open up this door and allow Blue Jay to get this job, and that it is in a wonderful environment and that it pays well. Because Lord, we're in a famine and we need the coins, Father. We need the coins. So, in Palestinian Jesus' name, we pray with the 4B curls. Amen. Amen. Mama Star is here. What's up, Bria? How you doing? Where, girl? What's up? El Boogie said I'm here. My secret voice. Yes. Hey, PBG. Bria said I'm here for the vibes. LOL, this season has been boring. Oh, absolutely. Hey, Megan. Megan said, hey, y'all, this season should have stayed in the drafts. Absolutely. I'm wondering, could they just canceled this season? It was, child. Hey, Spency. Spency said, hey, Star Family, Nikki, I love your commercial. Oh, thank you. Thank you all so much. If you do not know, your girl was recently in a Dove commercial that it was like a spoof. Like in a spoof of how, SNL does their movie spoofs. I forget what the SNL shorts. Yeah, like an SNL short. It was a spoof like that, a commercial for Dove. And it was like one of the first comedic commercials that they ever did. So it was like a really big deal. And it played during the SNL 50th anniversary show. So a lot of people saw it. A lot of people saw it. And I hope more people see it. And I hope they play the commercial overseas because we need the coins. We need the coins because I have some more pots to buy. But thank you so much, Spency. A wonderful life said hi. Didn't watch this season, but I love the Kiki in the chat always. Absolutely. The chat is more fun than the show if we're keeping it honest. Hey, Janelle, how are you? Hey, Alex. Alex said, hi, Nikki.Star fam. So excited to be in a room with you all. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for being here, Alex. What's up, Drewski, my love? Drewski said, hey, fam. Hey, Nikki and Family Star, missing you and keeping you on my praises always. And speaking of Auntie Kern, she needs to start, she needs to get some help. This is her fourth DUI. She's going to jail. Yeah, I think she's going to do some time, which is probably why she's doing the rehab because, cut down the time. But I'm just like, why did you fight it? I would have never afforded that. Your fourth DUI, I wouldn't afford it. Hey, JL. Also, I'm doing a reality TV chat tomorrow. We're going to talk about all of the Housewife shows. JL said, hooray, made it. Nikki, I miss you. I miss you too, JL. Thank you for being here. What's up, Connie? What's up, Royally Coyally? Made it to alive. Yes, you did. Miss Gigi said, jumped off another video because we were in the room tonight. Period. Thank you for being here. Busama, how are you? The nutrition tea said, I have been waiting for this review. Guys, it would have came sooner if this season was good. It took me about 4 times to get through this season. I kept on falling asleep. Me and my mom, my sisters, we love Love is Blind. We all just kept on falling asleep. It's that bad. It's that bad. Hey, Eva, how are you? Blue G said, I just read the comments and thank y'all. I pray for y'all success and breakthrough. Yes. Thank you, Star Fam. I'm happy to be here with y'all. Thank you for being here, Blue Jay. And you got it. If it's yours, you got it. Danielle said, I'm so happy I made this live. I never make lives. Well, thank you for being here, Danielle. Hey, Kirsten, how are you? NC said, Nikki, kudos on sticking with this season. I stopped watching after episode 2. Me too, child. Netflix dropping the most whitewashed cast during Black History Month just didn't sit well with my spirit. Well, listen, guys, this is the white community's last stand globally, except for the Irish. Shout out to them. They're standing with us. But so they're going to do just about every and anything, especially in America, because in about 10 years, white people are going to be outnumbered, and they are very afraid. Not the smart whites that we love. Unfortunately, it's the mediocre, uneducated ones, and they're terrified. So they're going to do everything that they can to stay in power, even if that means killing their own. Hello. Another civil war is upon us, but you better get like the 92% and mind your business. Hey, Miss Afro Majestic said, yes, Blue Jason and praise and good vibes. You will get it. Yes. I love how we support each other in here. Fly, eagles, fly. What a time, guys. What a time. Love like you are said, hey, Star Fam. Hey, Nikki. Happy Tuesday. Ready to hear everyone's thought on Christian Mingle is blind. It was given Mormon, wasn't it? This season was given Mormon. Hey, Charles. Charles said, hey, Nikki, happy to see you live. Usually part of the rewatch crew. Hoping you and the Star fam are safe and thriving. Thank you so much, Charles. Hey, Miss Kaja Shote said, yes, happy to get you live. Happy to have you here. The Internet 8 said, hey, Nikki and Star fam, go Birds. Yes. JK Knight said, OMG, I caught it live. It's been a minute. It sure has. It's insane. I was like in tears editing that vlog. The stuff that I recorded, I just want to say, I think you guys know this already. I absolutely love being from Philadelphia. I absolutely love that city. It was a time. It was a time. Afro Majestic said, hey, Nikki and Star fam, would love to say in the chat, but my pillow is winning this fight and I will be a part of the replay game. Absolutely understand. Don't worry. My next live tomorrow is going to be 12. It depends on what time I go to the gym. Guys, I'm in the gym now. Who am I? It's either going to be 12 or 2. I'm hopeful. I want to get an earlier live in since I'm going to be on the West Coast now for some time. But we'll see, because when I come from the gym, I'm done. I gotta take a nap. I gotta make a protein shake. It's a lot. It's a lot. But we'll get to it. But it will be the next live, the reality TV chat live will be earlier tomorrow. Cordelia said, "Oh no, I gotta exit this live. Kansas City. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. We love y'all. We love everybody over here, but we had to beat the brakes off them boys. I'm sorry. It's gonna be insane. I will say the blogs I'm putting up first are older, just because when I started booking, yes, God, I started booking in December. And then after I worked my last job, we went right into the holidays. Then we came back here for the new year. Then it was the LA fires. So the LA fires really set me back like about a month or so. So like my vlogs are, the next 3 are going to be, hopefully, I think the next 2 are just going to be catch up vlogs. And then we'll get to Philly. Right? And it was just a coincidence, but I knew they were going to win. I knew you got to understand the time in the season, and you have to also understand that that orange demon is a curse. As soon as he claimed the Chiefs as his team, I knew we had it. I knew we had it. Char said, "Hey, Nikki, sending love from Toronto. Usually part of the rewatch game, but had to stop in to say, hope you and the Star family are thriving and safe." Thank you. Boy Meets World. Yes. Boy Meets World. Oh, Catherine, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Catherine. Mwah. Much love to you. TIK.Star is in the building. Thank you for being here, TIK.Star. Megan Blackwell said, "Hey, Nikki, have you been watching Grits? Bachelor season, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. And baby, it seems like some people over there are going to get fired." We're absolutely talking about that tomorrow on the reality TV chat. We're going to talk about the latest episode, and we're also going to talk about that Deadline article, because it was juicy. It was juicy. Iconic television. Iconic television. Let me get a few more and then let's hop into it. And she ate down. She ate down. That's why I hope Karen gets the help she needs, because she really is a talent that can go far outside of Bravo. Just like with Candace, like she has it. She was good. I love watching her on that on the soap opera. I forget what it's called, but my mom loves that show. Hey, E for Empathy, thank you for being here. Miss you too. Miss you too. Hey, Winner. Winner said, "Lack of diversity, the cast looks the same. We were in the pods too long and no depth with the only Black couple. 5 out of 10. You rating it too high for me, child. But I agree." Blue Jay said, "Honestly, if you're going to go to Joe and you have an addiction, you should start that journey without as soon as possible." I agree. Hey, Brittany. Brit said, "Nikki, have you been keeping up with Annie and Tubaba? He just returned." I have to review that show. I'm not laughing at what's happening to Annie. I think it's sad. I think there's a lot going on there, and we'll talk about it in my review. What I am laughing at is that Britney, I am keeping up with it. I want my timeline is hella African right now, because I am just in everything, just watching all of this mess, and I'm just like, wow. This is just so sad. It's really really sad. I'm mortified for her as well. It's embarrassing. It really is embarrassing. I hate the fact that her daughters are seeing this. Danielle said, "This season helped me catch up on much needed naps." Same. The amount of times I had to rewind. Said I even had to rewind. I even had to rewind today, because I was just like, did I watch everything? Because I remember falling asleep a lot. Hey, Sha. Cha-Cha said, "Nikki, you've been missed around here. Hope you're doing great, and I'm glad I'm catching it live." Thank you so much for being here. Miss Gigi said, "It's something when so many people were falling asleep. My husband kept poking me. Yep. Like, how are you falling asleep on your show? I couldn't stay awake for nothing." It just wasn't good. We just have to be honest. It just wasn't good. The Internet H said, "I have only been watching recaps of the season after the episode 2 Yep. So we all fast forwarded a few scenes. Child, it's a mess. BB said, "I feel like this love is blind. It's giving Mormon, y'all. It's giving Mormon. My mom said now that would be a show with the messy ladies. That show needs to go in a different direction because it's going down the drain fast. Oh, okay. Let me get this part because this goes to the one I just read. Mama says, Drewski, I know Karen in the Grand Dame is guilty, but can we give her some grace and put her on house arrest with an ankle monitor? Because now we know that show will be. What would that show be with those messy ladies? The show needs to go in a different direction because it's going to go down the drain fast. If you didn't know, Potomac is one of Mama's favorite shows. Miss Gigi said, I just finished the last batch today. That's so unlike me. I usually bet same. We stay up and finish all the episodes. We wait till midnight and finish all the episodes. We didn't do it this time. We didn't do it this time. Oh my God, I forgot that she was doing the casting. Ciao. We've missed you. Well, I've missed you too, Sarah. Thank you for being here. Yes, happy birthday to our love Carolyn. Dolly said, hey guys, haven't been a part of a live in a minute. Thank you for being here. Beyond the Gates. Yes, that's the name of the show. And it is good. It is really, really, really good. Irene said, yeah, it's a lack of diversity that I don't like, but I'm not surprised. Exactly, guys. This is the season that we're in. We are going to see a lot of stuff from like the 50s come back. We already see like very young women. That's why y'all know I love Gen Z, but that's why I'm so hard on them right now, because Gen Z, you're going to mess up your future and Gen Alpha's future by the stuff that you are allowing yourself to consume and believe and the decisions that you are making. You guys are falling for the propaganda. That trad wife stuff is propaganda. It's just to get you as young women, as young Gen Z women, to put your rights and your body in the hands of men who wish to enslave you. Babies, please wake up. Y'all going to jack your lives up. And if this man doesn't draft y'all into war and you see your older years, y'all gonna be broke as hell. Please wake up, Gen Z. Ren said, Nikki, did you discuss the saga of Onaja in Pakistan? Her travels were a movie. It's old news now. Just wondering if I missed your commentary. Yes, the only reason why I didn't talk about it was because her son came out and said that she was bipolar. And y'all know, like, I love a little good kiki and a good little joke because she is entertaining. But just knowing that she is dealing with a mental illness and her family is really trying to get her back home, I just didn't think that was a subject that we needed to discuss here on this here platform. But listen, I ain't even gonna hold you. I had a little chuckle at those press conferences. Cleared away. I say yes. I want $20,000. I'm not talking unless you give me $20,000. Cleared away. Period. I loved her. Tyler, yes, they shouldn't have never got married. Still mad at Ashley for that mess. Still. Teresa G said Britney got engaged too, but they didn't show that and gave us these oatmeal stories. Yeah, I felt like there were some Black couples on there that just didn't get any screen time. And that's sad. That really, really is sad. Blue Jay said, Gen Z here. I'd always wanted a life before a child. I'm going to live, laugh, and I know that's right. I'm not talking to 92% Gen Z because you're going to rest and enjoy. But I'm just like, I'm scared for y'all. I'm scared of you. Yes, tomorrow's live is going to be the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives of Potomac. We're also going to talk about Drag Race, and we're going to talk about The Bachelor. DGF, we're going to end here with DGF 627 said I was leaving my room and caught a familiar profile on my screen during a commercial. It was you. Thank you guys. Oh, I was going to end with DGF, but you are right. I am going to talk about WAGs. It's just going to be one live. But as you know, it's going to be, I want to talk about the show, but I'm also going to talk about how it relates to just, life culturally. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a cultural commentary live as well. But that show, Netflix, y'all know we're in a Netflix family, but Netflix, don't ever do that again. That was terrible. It was something else, but ibuprofen was the appropriate. You know what? Let's just talk about it. Let's just talk about it. So, this season of Love is Blind, in my opinion, was the worst season that they've ever done. And I think it's for a few reasons. We'll first start with the lack of diversity. Here is the thing. I don't know why America hasn't caught on yet. I don't know why America is now trying to run with this agenda to erase everybody that's different and just keep it, very white, very vanilla. At the beginning, middle, and end of the day, diversity is what just makes everything better, right? Because we have a balance, and this show is not balanced. That's why you can't watch the whole season. That's why you're falling asleep. No shade, but gotta be honest. Shout out to the White Star family members. Y'all know how we talk over here. We talk honest. We talk race. I have to be honest. White people, especially white people in America, are not raised to be interesting. They're just raised to fall in line, which is what we see happening here. They don't shake anything up. They just follow the rules, and they police other people who are not following the rules that they think that they should have. So you have these characters on this show who are just not interesting because that is their culture, right? White culture in America is boringness, right? It's violence, it's genocide, it's gentrification, it's the blandification of everything. It's making everybody conform to this one identity in this one look. And at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, that's just not interesting. People don't want to say that. People do not want to see that. And listen, I'm talking about white culture. I'm not talking about white people, right? As a whole, I'm talking about the culture that a lot of white people assign themselves to, right? Which is why, in my opinion, I could be wrong, why Jewish Americans have such a hard time being fully engulfed into white culture. It's because they have kept a form of a different identity, right? They keep a lot of their traditions, they keep a lot of their values, they keep a lot of their religious beliefs and ideas, while also, conforming to white culture, but not fully. So I feel like that's why that culture always gets a beating from other white people, because they have not fully fallen in line by keeping their identity. That's why Irish people are very different from Irish Americans and don't hold the same kind of views, because Irish people, white people who are Irish, right? They have a culture. Irish people in America, since like the 40s, conform to white culture because they wanted to have that privilege. Because before that, Irish people and Italian people were being treated just like how Black Americans are. When they decided to drop their identity and form into white culture, they were able to receive that privilege, but to a certain extent. To a certain extent, child. That's why they make y'all janitors and police officers. They ain't never gonna let y'all be nothing. Anyway, but that's what it is, right? And so that whole identity is falling in line, walking this straight and everything. You can't dance, you can't be cool. Remember Footloose? They was dragging Kevin Bacon because he was doing the two-step. He was doing the Dougie, and they were like, "What are you doing?" That's not what we do. We don't dance. We don't have fun. We don't wear bright colors. We're not interesting. So this season is so boring because we have white people who have just fallen in line concerning their culture, right? The only time you see them doing anything interesting or outside of that, it's those white people who are outsiders, right? It's those liberals, right? It's those crunchy people and all of that stuff. So they have a different identity than what their culture assigns them to. So we're seeing like straight and narrow white people who are just falling in line, and there's no balance from people who are different, who don't follow in that format, because if you just have that, it's not interesting. You need something else. Okay, we can take the vanilla corny white couple, right? If we got, this Puerto Rican couple from Philly fighting every 5 minutes because that's their culture, and it's interesting, and there's diversity there, and there's things that we want to see. Or if we get the Asian couple where the guy is a little bit more conformed, the girl isn't, and so we see this pull and tug of somebody pulling somebody out of culture and then somebody pulling somebody into culture. It's interesting to see those conversations, but it's not interesting to see these conversations, especially in the time that we are in, where you're seeing this woman talk about, well, I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast. Okay, give us something else new. Like, we know that we're living under how you guys think. So it's just not interesting. And especially with the time that we are living in, we don't want to see these kind of white people. We don't want to see them. Get some white Philadelphians from Northeast Philly in there. That'll be interesting, right? That's what we want to see. We don't want to see these kind of white people. We're talking about Joe Rogan and talking about, I don't understand Black Lives Matter. We get that. We see that. We're living under your demonic thought. And that's not what we want to see. We want to escape. We want to be entertained. We don't want to hear your genocidal thought process, because we are currently trying to survive your genocidal thought process. So it's not interesting. So we're falling asleep. We're fast forwarding, because although it's also boring, it's also triggering watching people like this, because the decisions that they made to put us in the hell that we are in now. I don't know why Netflix watched or Love is Blind, I won't say Netflix, watched this all the way through. And of course, a couple of executives at Netflix watched this all the way through and said, let's put it on a roster. Even after that election, even after seeing all the tragedies that we have endured in just a few weeks, you still put this up and thought you were going to have a good season. It's just not smart. It's just not smart. So we're all struggling to get through this. And I have to be very honest with you guys, all jokes aside, no shade, not trying to sound like a Caucasian, but I can't tell these people apart. I don't know who's who. I was struggling when I was trying to get the images to put people's names up, because I was like, who is this? I don't remember. Everybody looks alike. Everybody looks alike. The only names that I know? Britney, Devin, and Virginia. I only know the diverse people. It's just like, this is a tough one to get through, but we're going to have some fun. So, we talked about how boring this season is and how triggering this season is. Let's get into the first few episodes. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm just going to talk about some thoughts that I had, and we're going to keep it pushing. But one thing that really, not triggered me, but one thing that really gags me was that this is in Minneapolis, right? The one thing that really gagged me was that we didn't have any Somali people on this season. No, not like one Somali cast member in Minneapolis. Minneapolis is little Somalia. Like, have you ever been to the Minneapolis airport, baby? They heavy in there. So I was like really gagged that we don't have like no not one Somali person. At least two. Or maybe the POCs in Minneapolis just don't do foolishness or stuff like this. I don't know, but I was just like, not one Somali person. Wow. Not one Muslim? Like, that really gagged me. That really gagged me. And we also are dealing with another season where the women outweigh the men. And this is why I need every woman to just get on board. Because our reality is the fact that we are dealing with a generation of men that we outpace them in everything. And we're seeing that this season where these women outpace these men in everything, in face cards, in education, in jobs, in money, in worldview. They're all unequally yoked, and they're unequally yoked in the fact that these men do not even qualify to be in a space to glance at these women. So you're watching it as a woman and you're just like, girl, do you just want to be on this show? Or are you really this desperate? Because it makes no sense that you are trying your damnedest to make a relationship work with any of these men. Every tear that was shed from a woman on this show is a tear that Satan himself drank up and celebrated. Every time they cried, he kicked his feet up and said, I did it again. I did it. I won. I got him. I can't believe it. And I know that they have to have a show and they got to have a season. So maybe that's why they decided to go with these couples, because these are the ones that went the distance, because it seems like a lot of these couples fell apart right as soon as they got out of the pod. So maybe they stuck with these people because these people went the distance. Maybe that's what it is. But it's just really frustrating to see these relationships come together and you see these women fighting for these beyond, way beneath them mediocre men. It's completely discouraging and just a sad state for the singles. They spent nothing on casting, nothing on trips, and every freaking thing went to music. The music budget was crazy. It was literally like a slow jams R&B music from the 90s playlist that was playing throughout this, like the entire 8 episodes. I'm just like, is that guy? Like, what is going on? That's where all the money went. That's where all the money went to the licensing this music. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like, what happened, Netflix? Let's talk. What happened this season? I just don't understand. I don't understand the casting. I don't understand the financial choices. Like, all of the events that they're having, they're like in the community room of the apartments that they're staying at. I'm like, are we ever leaving the apartments? Are we ever leaving the pods? We stayed in the pods forever. We stayed in the apartments forever. When we finally get to see people, they're in the community room of the apartment complex. Where's the money? Why did y'all spend so much money on music licensing and not on making this show better? I am so confused. And I also feel like they cut some money from Nick and Vanessa and put that in the music as well, because we don't see them. And I remember seeing them a bit more, to the point where I'm just like, why are y'all here? But now I'm just like, oh, they're just never here. What? I really want to see the budget. Like, I want to see where the money was allocated, because something is fishy. It honestly gives money laundering. It honestly gives money laundering. But I'm gonna back out of that because I'm in a Netflix family. I love y'all so much. Hey, family. All of the men on this show are conservative, and they are absolutely lying to trap liberal women. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. And Harriet Tubman. This is what we're singing here, right? And this is, again, like, this show mirrors what we are dealing with currently in the good old USA. So these men, you can see in the pods when they're having conversations, these men are absolutely lying to these women. Whatever the women want to hear, these men will say it. They're not being honest about their political views or about their beliefs, right? They're just like, oh, I don't know. I'm pretty much down the middle. None of these men are pretty much down the middle. None of these men are, will hang out with the woman that they're interested in, with their progressive or their liberal friends. Absolutely not. As soon as these men get with these women, they are going to impregnate them and trap them in a marriage, make them so financially dependent on them that they can't leave if they tried. That's exactly what's happening here. And they are lying to these women and telling them that they think a certain way, or however they think, that's how they think, right? So, because they'll wait for the woman she'll ask a question. That's why you got to stop talking, ladies, and listen. The women are always asking questions to these men. Before the men can answer, the women are answering. You're giving him an answer, right? So they'll say something like, how do you politically lean? And before the guy could say anything, I politically lean more progressive. And so what will the guy say? Oh, yeah, me too. I kind of lean that way as well. You know, I like to hear both sides, but the way you lean is how I lean. He's a liar. He's a liar. Every time a man moves his lips, he's lying. I don't know why the woman's intuition, why the woman's wisdom leaves y'all as soon as y'all turn 30. But you got to get some damn sense. We're dying here. They're going to enslave us. Ladies, wake the hell up. But what we're seeing in this show is exactly what we're dealing with, because these men are lying to these women, right? Because women now, millennial women, I got to be honest with you, this is kind of millennials women's fault, right? Because we decided that we're going to listen to our grandmothers and we're not going to be trapped in a relationship. So the men are getting slick now, and they're just lying a bit more covert than usual, right? So it won't necessarily be, oh, I didn't say that, you said that, and I just agreed. So that's what we're dealing with. These men are lying to these women because they want to trap liberal women. Because at the beginning, middle, and end of the day, all men, conservative, liberal, independent, Green Party, whatever, however these men identify, right? All men are attracted to liberal women. Why? Because these men like to hunt. And that's why we have trophy wife or trophy girlfriend, because they like to put you somewhere, preferably in a house that y'all splitting the bills with, child. Because these men today, they want to trap you, but they don't want to pay for nothing. The devil is a liar. Anyway, trap you in a house, in a marriage with kids, and just put you on a platter to look at. And then go hunt for something else. Why? Because you were so difficult to get. So they like that. That's what I'm talking about. I like the chase. What the hell? I'm a human being. It's not no chase. You get to know me. But they like the chase. They like to be like, oh, I got her. Oh, she wanted to do this. Oh, she was going to med school. Oh, she had just graduated from Harvard. That's why the men be proposing to y'all as soon as y'all graduate. That's why they propose to you as soon as you graduate. It is not cute. It is not cute that he is using your moment to entrap you. Be back out of there. But that's what happens, right? So they lie to you so they can trap you, because the women that they can't cage, the women that they can't control, are the ones they're interested in. That's why the pick-me's, the trap wives, all these kind of girls, they can never get a man they want. If they get them, they can't keep them. That's why they hating on other women. Instead of being on a winning team, they hating on the women that's free. Because they didn't willingly enslave themselves to these men, and they don't want them. They're always talking about, that the blue-haired liberal girl. Oh, you want that blue-haired liberal girl that don't shave her armpits because you know that coochie fire, right? You want that one. You don't want conservative Barbie who done had all them damn kids at the age of 21. You don't want her. That's why you give her all them kids, and then you take that job where you can travel. You can bang everybody at that damn office while telling everybody how much you hate your wife. So that's what's happening here. They're all lying. All the men are lying, and all the women are eating up. Oh my God, really? Don't do this show when you're ovulating. Don't do this show when you just turned 30. 31 to 33, absolutely don't come on this show. I would love to see how this show works with women in their late 30s, early 40s. We won't have marriages, I'll tell you that right now. We won't have marriages, and all the men will sign a prenup. Speaking of prenups, let's talk about Devin and Virginia. Let's talk about Devin and Virginia. It's Virginia's age. That's what it is. Her age is the only way that she, as a doctor, heard this man who said that he had an addiction to ibuprofen. Girl, it was meth. Let me stop. I don't know. But that's the only, I'm telling you, it's her age. That's the only reason why she's here in this situation, because she, as a doctor, knows. She knows. And then to sit there and talk to this man about a prenup, But before even talking about a prenup, saying, I'll help you pay your medical bills. No, 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 no. You're going into a marriage with no debt and saying you're going to pay his debt. Absolutely not. That's not how it works. Clean up that debt before you propose. Why are you coming on a show and you got medical debt? You can't provide right now. You have debt. But Miss Virginia, oh, it's fine. I'll pay that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She knows they're unequally yoked. She knows this man is out of her league. She wants a child. Ladies, there's nothing wrong with going to a sperm bank or getting in a lavender relationship. There are so many gay guys who want kids. What's wrong with a little lavender marriage? Come on. And they be fine too. And they clean. But we got to get in some situationships with the gays until the straights start learn how to act. Because the reason why Virginia is here is because of her age. She don't want this man. She don't want this man. She's looking at her age and she's looking at motherhood and she's looking at society. And this is what she wants to do. And Devin knows that. That's why he's acting like he's the king in this relationship. That's why him and that busted family can sit there and talk to this doctor and look at her and say, oh, so what about kids? Because you are a little older. How? Forgive me, Lord. Yes?
All I'm going to say is this. She can't just go to a sperm bank or something. Like, this girl wants a relationship. She wants a relationship.
Yes. But you do not force something.
I agree.
She's also forcing this because she wants a child.
Exactly. So I think that you just got to.
I didn't just suggest sperm bank. I suggested sperm bank and I suggested lavender marriage.
Star family, I did tell Nikki.Star I wanted to be a part of this because I have a lot to say. This is one of my favorite shows.
Comment. I'm gonna bring up your comments.
Yes. But I'm commenting because yes, she does want a relationship, but she don't want to. She wants you talking about telling her to have a baby with a gay guy. He don't want her. A gay guy don't want her. She wants a relationship.
Yes, but they could be great companions. And also, I'm telling you what, no, I'm serious. There's a lot of gay guys who are trying out coochie for the first time and they're enjoying it.
Friends will want to have a baby with
they're enjoying it.
But Nicole is just a friend. Why am I doing this with you?
That's what a relationship should be, a friendship, right?
But you don't,
it's just she doesn't have to take my advice, but I'd rather her be in a lavender than in a marriage with somebody who is lying about an ibuprofen addiction and that hating sister. Absolutely not. She's dealing with too much. She's dealing with too much.
I agree with you about the debt part. I do not like when you don't have any debt and then you're going in a relationship to pay off somebody else's debt. I had a friend that did that and it went sour. I hate to tell her. They got divorced because it was too
Wait a
much
minute. Whose business are you excuse me. Absolutely not. Not on my live. Anyway, those were suggestions, Virginia. You don't have to take my advice, right? But I feel like, and I think you know, that you are better than Devin and his entire family. No shade. No shade. Just tea. We're just being honest here. And you know who knows that more than you and Devin? His mama. His mama know. And that hating sister know too. She's jealous because she couldn't find anything on you. Because she know her brother don't amount up to you. She knows. So she had to find something to try to bring you down a peg. But Virginia, being the doctor that she is, wasn't fazed by that at all. Hating sister. Because you are older. Your brother's broke. Why is he looking for a wife? Can we start there? Why are we getting on Virginia, the doctor? Y'all should be trying to court her too as a family. I cannot listen. I understand family having concerns. I understand, families, being a little apprehensive about this process. But I'm sorry, if your brother and your son is Devin and he brings home Virginia, you better court the hell out of that woman. You better court the hell out of that woman. So to sit there in that remedial home and act like she ain't the best thing that happened to him, mental illness, the whole family off. Virginia, I wish you well. I wish you well. Devin, you got a lot going on. This is a good woman. Do right. Listen, all you can do is do better. That's all you can do. Virginia also represents African American women in our plight, right? African American, Black American women who are attracted to Black men solely, right? There are some of our sisters who date out. Some of us who said, absolutely not. This is not for me. I'm talking to them, right? I'm talking to us. This is what we're dealing with, right? Because we're just outpacing our men drastically. There's no other demographic of women in America that has outpaced their men like Black American women. So a lot of us have to settle for situations like this, right? With knowing that you're going to make more, but the machismo in him is going to make him and his family demean you so that he could feel better about himself. So a lot of women have to eat that, right? A lot of Black American women have to eat that because of patriarchy and because of the machismo that has been infecting the black men. So what she is dealing with and what she represents is what a lot, if not the majority, of Black American women are dealing with. It's just like the dating pool is not there. The men, we are not equally yoked with our men, and we are not attracted to men outside of our community, which is why the only options are lavender marriage. Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do. Let's move on to Ben and Sarah. Sarah is settling, like all the women on this show. Sarah is settling. Ben is lying about everything. Ben is allowing himself to be whatever Sarah wants him to be. And we all know that when or if they get married, Sarah will meet Ben, probably not on a honeymoon because Ben knows that she'll leave. But Sarah's going to meet the real Ben after she delivers their first child. And because I think Sarah's dealing with the same thing that Virginia is, her age, right? I think the age is leading more out in this relationship than sense. Because Sarah, her intuition is talking to her and she's finding some things. Because you see, she does this to Ben a lot. Really? Okay. Yeah. The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. I'm hoping that she listens to her womanly wisdom and gets out of this situation. And I think what's going to get her out of this situation with Ben is TikTok. I'm not going to talk about it too much because we're going to see more of it on episode 10 and probably 11, where there's a girl who was on TikTok who, when the cast was announced, sorry, I have a piece of hair that's bothering me, who, when the cast was announced, got on TikTok and made a bunch of videos crying about how Ben was just a horrible guy to her. And she was just like, she hates, seeing the worst guy that she ever met get platformed by Netflix. And so what happened was, after the experiment, after they got out the pods, Sarah got her phone back and everybody was blowing up her phone and sending her things. And I guess, they don't know about Ben, or they didn't know about Ben at the time, but they were sending her everything that was happening on TikTok. And so Sarah put two and two together and realized that it was Ben. And Ben fully admitted it. And he was just like, I ghosted her. I don't know why she's acting like that. Listen, Ben could be telling the truth. However, multiple women have come out and said these things about him as well. We'll talk about it more in my next review. So there's some issues there. And I think Sarah sees it. Who knows if she is going to make the best decision for her. Who knows? But yeah, if she does go through this process of Ben, she will not meet who he really is until she's in that delivery room holding that baby. That's when you're going to meet him, because he knows that he has you trapped. So he knows that no matter what he does, you're going to stay there, because women like to stay in relationships that do not suit them, if they, especially if they have a child, because women are always thinking about the family, because that's just how we're wired. We're always thinking about family, we're always thinking about community, which is why I believe that's why Black American women are so like gung-ho on having a Black husband and a Black family, because that is just how women are wired. We're culture, we're influence, we are the family, right? We are the core of a family, so we're constantly thinking about those things. So men know that if they get a woman pregnant, she's going to stay in a situation or a relationship with them longer than she would if she did not have a child attached to this person. Shout out to Offset and Cardi B. That's the same thing. Every time he did that woman dirty, he got her pregnant. And how he confirmed it was when he wrote on Twitter, "You my baby mama, I won," which meant after they were fighting, which meant I always have a direct line to your heart, because our children are your heart. And he always has a way of getting in, if not by using the children, by manipulating his children to say certain things to her to make her feel bad. Oh, I want my mom and dad to be together. You don't want that. He told you that when you was over there at his house for the weekend visits, because he can't take you during the week, right? So that's what happens there in that situation. So I hope Sarah makes the best choice for her. If she doesn't, she's going to meet the man that she married the day she delivers her child. David and Lauren, the king of narcissists. My God, today. David don't want Lauren. David don't want Lauren. David didn't want Lauren the moment he saw her. And he definitely didn't want her as soon as he saw Molly. And David has been trying to get out of this relationship with this engagement with Lauren the day he saw her. He's not attracted to her. He does not want to be with her. And I don't think it's just her. I don't think that David came on this show to find a wife. I think David came on this show to find fame. And he's going to find it. I'm telling you right now, this man is going to be on all the Netflix shows. He's going to be on The Perfect Match. He's going to be on all them game shows. He might just end up on The Traitors, because he is perfecting the villain role. Like, that's what he's doing right now. He's manipulating this woman, making her feel bad about herself by using her, screw buddy to make her feel bad for doing something to satisfy her as a single woman. Something that he himself has done as a single man, but women cannot do what men do, right? So there's a big issue there. Do as I say, not as I do, right? So you can't do what I can do because I'm a man. Like, if I'm doing it as a man, men have made up this lie that they have this sexual libido that nobody can understand. Women can't understand, like we don't ovulate. But anyway, they have made up this idea that they're like these wild sexual beasts that can't be tamed. So when they do these things, it's because they're a man. When they show violence, it's because they're a man. No, you're a human being, and you are making choices that you are allowed to make because society keeps you as this infant. Men are the only species on this planet, on the only human species that is allowed to grow up. They're allowed to be children. They're allowed to be adults. They're allowed to be single and free. They're allowed to make dumb decisions. Women are not. Women, as soon as they're born, are put into servitude roles. Soon as they're born, which is why we're getting this dynamic that we see on this show. These women, these overqualified women, are ready to put everything down and serve these men who are not even qualified at all. So we're seeing this great woman of Lauren crying every day because David doesn't have the cojones to tell her he's not attracted to her and he does not want a wife. So he's trying to get out of this relationship with her, but he's leading her on because he wants to stay on this show as long as possible. So he's saying, it's, well, my friends are saying these things that they know this guy that you were dating or whatever, and they're making a big deal. I'm just thinking about it. I still like you. I still want to be in this. No, he does not. He's manipulating her. He's playing with her mind because he wants to stay on this show, because he wants to get to the end and have this big monologue that he gives her when he leaves her at the aisle. This has been his plan since he came into the pods. It could have been anyone. But he thought that he would be more attracted to Lauren, because although he does not want a wife at the end of this, because it could, whoever he would have picked, he would have done the same thing. However, he still wants to have a good time while he's on this show. So because Lauren is not having sex with him, he's making her feel bad. He's abusing her, mentally abusing her with the relationship that she had, or with the F buddy that she had before she got on this show. Because he's just like, you're casually having sex with him. Why are you not having sex with me? And she's like, well, this is a real relationship. This is something very important. I want to make sure that me and you are in a good place before we even make a decision like that. But he's getting into her head, and he's trying to make her feel bad for the decisions that she made before she was even with him, or before he was even a thought. Listen, she is a sexually active woman. She was banging on this dude before she got into the pods, because she was probably used to getting a little dingle every other day. But she knew when she got into this process, she was not going to have access to dingle. And she wasn't used to that. That wasn't her lifestyle. She had dingle options out in them streets. So she fulfilled her sexual desires before she hopped into the pods. It's no different than men having their way with their wee-wee in their hand before they go on a date, so that they can have a clear head. That's what she did. She got a little dingle before she got in them pods, so that she could have a clear head. What is wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with it. Two consenting adults. And that guy, I don't believe he said any of those things to David. If he did, we all know that he just wants to get on the show. Even her friends confirmed it. Everybody confirmed that he just wants to be on the show. All of these men just want to be on the show. They do not want wives. They do not want to be providers. They do not want to be protectors. They don't want to be head of household. They want to have casual sex with these women, and they want to be taken care of. They're manipulating this process because without it, they cannot get these kind of women. It's the same thing with church. It's the same thing with church. Don't none of them men amount to what those women in church are. None of them. But religion and convince these women that they got to submit to these men who 9 times out of 10 don't even want a woman. That's another story for another time. But what's happening here is he's getting in her head, and it's working. I hate to see their scenes, because she's crying every time. Every time she's crying and falling apart. And I'm telling you, if they would have filmed that scene any longer with her friends would have jumped him, because they were watching her and him interacting, and they were being good friends. You know what I mean? Like when you meet somebody that your friend is interested in, and now you're meeting your friend's fiance, and you understand this process and how she really wanted to do it. They're like, hey, okay, great. You did so good in the spin class. And then they're watching this man destroy their friend in front of them. So they started to get a little defensive, as they should have. But I'm telling you, if the camera stayed any longer, they would have jumped that man. They would have jumped that man, because they see what he is doing to her. He does not want her, but he wants access to her body. And she is being chased because she knows she likes him, right? This ain't a dingle. She's not dingle hopping. She likes this man, and she's falling for him, falling in love with him, and is ready to marry him. So she doesn't want her body to confuse this process. So she's holding herself back so that when they make that decision, she knows that they're on one accord. But this guy is not on the same page as her, because I'm pretty sure she's tried to, make, what is it? Make a move. And he's probably tried to make a move, but something just wasn't right because her womanly intuition is telling her he does not want her. He does not want her. And we're going to see it when he sees Molly, who he don't want. He don't want Molly. He just want to dip his candlestick in something alive. That's it. But he doesn't want any woman on this process. He's not ready to be nobody's husband. He's going to play in this woman's head and he's going to be rewarded for it because he's going to be on several Netflix shows and then he's going to go on to be this reality TV villain and he's going to make a lot of money because we are in a season of rewarding terrible people. Poor little Tink Tink. Poor little Tink Tink. Danielle and Taylor. Taylor, he absolutely knows you. Not Danielle, Daniel and Taylor. He knows you, sis. He knows you. And I'm telling you, we're this whole season, women's intuition is screaming at these women. Their womanly wisdom is telling them what they need to know, but they're just not trusting it. They're just not trusting. Now, I did watch one girl's TikTok, and she was just like, everybody knows somebody on the show. That's how small Minneapolis is. Like everybody on TikTok is either related to somebody. I saw a guy TikTok as well, and he was just like, they wanted me to be on the show, but he was just like, I couldn't be on the show because I knew that I would know somebody on this show. So because in the video he was talking about people are just like, why did they get this cast? And he was like, they got this cast because these are the only people who did not know each other. Everybody else in Minneapolis, they know each other. Like it's a big city, but it's a big city, but it's really small because everybody knows someone. And he was just like, if I would have went on the show, I probably would have talked to Molly, who was my cousin, and that would have been an issue. So he's like, Minneapolis is really, really small. So this cast was cast because they are the only ones who didn't know each other and the only ones who wanted to be on the show and the only ones who could be on this show. But I believe that he knows her because she said, you were telling me everything that I wanted to hear. And she was like, it worked out so well. And I felt like it worked out too well. She knows, but she wants to deny it because, again, she wants to be in this. She wants to make this work, but she knows because before the producers, the messy producers, even gave her her phone, he was just like, he started out by saying, no, I don't know. I don't know you. I've never met you before. I've never seen you. And she was just like, no, I've seen you before. She's just like, I got a sickening feeling that because this is when they got out the pods and they met for the first time. She was just like, something was off. And she said when she got back to her hotel room, she realized what she was feeling was that she knows him. She's just like, I've seen you. She's like, I think you follow me on Instagram or I know you from somewhere. I've seen you. You look familiar to me. He was not outraged at all. He was just like, huh? What is? Like his reaction for me felt very guilty because it wasn't a normal reaction to something like that. Like your fiance is panicking and saying that they know you and that they've seen you before. He wasn't like, Taylor, come on, calm down. Like nothing like that. It just was no concern. It gave court. And before the messy producers even gave her her phone, he says to her, well, if I did follow you, I probably unfollowed you because of, like, he was trying to find something, but he's so lucky that she was so frustrated she couldn't scroll and do her research properly. Because I do believe that she knows him or he knows her and he gathered the right information to get her. I think he knows her. I think he knew that she was going to be on the show. And I think he conned her. I really, really do. Which is why her mother was very apprehensive about this process. Because her mom was just like, in what world does it ever make sense that you call me and tell me that you're engaged? That's not what we do. And I promise you, if this was a normal process and she talked to her mom about it, these two would not be together. But we're going to see, child. We're going to see how this works out. I will say, out of all these couples, I don't think that any of them are going to actually make it. I'm hoping that Virginia's family, or friends or somebody clocks in and tells her this is just not a smart decision. But I don't think that any of these people are going to make it. I don't think that they're going to make it. The only people that I think are going to make it are the goofies. This goofy couple, I feel like they're the only one. Now, maybe they're just in Monica and Joey. Maybe they're just in the honeymoon phase where like everything's funny, everything's a joke. All they do is laugh. It's like all they do is laugh. All they do is laugh. But I feel like these two work through conflict very, very well. Like Joey is a neat freak, right? Monica's dirty. She's just dirty because when she told that story about a spider hatching in the crotch of her jeans and Joey stayed, I was just like, okay, well, this was a difficult situation. And he was just like, all right, well, let me see it. And she's like, no, I don't think you need to see how messy I am. He said, listen, I need to see it to see if this is something I can live with. So he's really thinking about going through this process with her and taking it to the end. I feel like these two both make decisions for people who are going to finish this out. Out of any couple, I think that these two might actually make it. I will say we're going to see a little difference in Joey on the next episode from what the trailer saw. So I don't know. I will say I do like the fact that he clocked her jealous sister. He told her to her face, your sister is jealous of you. Monica knows that, but that's her sister. And she loves her. You know, what is she going to do? Right? Like, it's very, very difficult. So I think she knows this and she's just trying to make the best of the situation that she has. But I like that he clocked that and he told her, because for me, I felt like he will protect her, right? I also like the fact that when her family very awkwardly said, can you join us in a family jam? And he was like, sure. You know, like, I think he's really interested in her. I think she's very interested in him. I think this process just may work for these two. But who knows? Who knows? But out of anybody, any other relationship that I see on this show, I feel like Goof Troop is going to make it work. The Goofies, I feel like they're going to make it in the end. But only time will tell. Now, before we get into the comments, I want to talk about some side characters. First side character, Britney. Britney was in a love triangle with Devin and Virginia. Britney and Devin got along more because they had that basketball connection. Devin was more interested in Britney than Virginia because he felt so different from her. I also feel like he felt small. He still feels very small with Virginia. I think Virginia was too much of an achiever for him. And I don't think that he could properly lead out with a woman that was so accomplished. So he felt like Britney, who was just as accomplished as Virginia, but I think the basketball connection was something that really intrigued the both of them. Even everybody in the cast, they were telling each other that they were each other's perfect match. What happened with Britney and Devin was that Britney let Devin know that she is attracted and has been in relationships with women, but she wants to marry a man. That's how she wants her family to look. She says she's only seen herself with a husband and a family and children, not with a woman. And the last relationship she was in was with a woman. And the only reason why she broke off that relationship was because the woman that she was in a relationship with wanted to get married, and she just did not see that for herself. So Devin felt emasculated by that and pulled away from Britney. Britney felt that she didn't like how he rejected, her identity, and decided to leave the process. I will say this is how Britney was dressed the entire time. Like, in something very form-fitting, very, very snatched, cakes on display. As soon as she told Devin that she had a girlfriend, the next day, full on stud. The next day, like, she used to have her braids styled a certain way, but as soon as like her mind was made up that Devin was not for her, she showed up in like this boxy blazer and these big jeans and was sitting like this. I was like, what just happened? I will say this, Britney. I think you know who you are. You know what you want and who you want to be and who you want to be with. I think you're currently making decisions based on how your family feels about your identity and how society feels about your identity. I'm just giving a suggestion. I think you need to go find your ex because I think you really love that person, but because of how your family feels, your community feels, and society as a whole feels, I think you broke that relationship off. But I think that's where your heart is, and I think that's where your happiness is. The world is ending. Spend the last remaining years of your life being happy. Go get your soulmate, sis. Go get your soulmate. Molly. So Molly was in a love triangle with David and Lauren. David don't want Lauren or Molly, but David wants some sex. So next episode, David and Molly are going to be talking about, sexual stuff, and Lauren's going to go crazy, and just a mess. Just a mess. But Molly is another woman on this show who um really was is just wanting to be married and wanting to be in a relationship, because she was somebody who conformed to whatever the men were saying as well. So it was really like, I'm ready to stop paying bills and I'm ready to be taken care of, not knowing that these men are not ready to take care of anybody. My God, today. I briefly want to talk about MAGA Meg because when she first started talking, and then we started to hear, her thoughts and the whole Joe Rogan, she listened to a Joe Rogan podcast thing. That let me know what kind of season this was going to be. And that also let me know that all of media is falling in line with the current administration. So we're going to see more like this, because what she represents is not the typical conservative, right? She's the crunchy granola conservative, right? She's not the church going, Bible thumping Karen. She's a different kind of Karen. You're not going to find her at a Rouse or an Acme or Rite Aid, but you're going to find her at a Whole Foods. This is a different kind of conservative woman. But when I saw her and I saw how she was acting in them pods, I said, yeah, this is the same thing. It's just propaganda, red pill, right wing, the same thing. Same demon, different suit. Same demon, different suit. Let's briefly get into Alex and Madison. Girl, this was tea. I couldn't believe he got rid of her. I couldn't believe it. Madison couldn't believe it. But Madison, she's going to come in the last few episodes, or maybe just episode 10. She's going to come in with her pink hair, and she's going to wreck some stuff. I can't wait for her debut. I cannot wait to see Madison out of the pods unleashed. Madison, like the men, was not here for her husband. I feel like Madison was here for the show as well. And it's just to have a really good time. I think that Madison just wanted a lot of camera time, because I don't think that Madison is ready to be married. I don't see Madison getting married, to be honest with you. I see Madison, just having a good time, going to hedonism resorts and furry conventions, and just living her best life. She might get engaged at Burning Man, but it might be like a 20-year engagement. I just don't see marriage for Madison for a while. And you know what? Good for her, because she got a lot going on. Madison got a lot going on. All the men really liked her because she got that like baby voice that, Caucasian men like, right? And it's very, yeah, mm-hmm. Oh, what is that? What you think? Yeah. They love it when you sound like a toddler. Anyway, but when Madison started talking about her issues, right? Issues with her father and things of that, it really, really pulled the men back, right? Because they want a conquest. They don't want a conquest with too much baggage. So she started off really strong and then just fell really fast. But she's coming back. and she's coming back with a vengeance, and I can't wait to see it. Let's get into the comments. What do you guys have to say? I'm going to start really early from the top, and then we're going to work our way down. I Am Also Production said there's been Asian women on season 2, and then the girl from last season was half Asian, but the men never get any camera time though. A few have gotten engaged. Yeah. This is America. The Asian men are just not going to get platformed. They're just not going to get platformed. And unless the Asian community speaks up and says something about it, it's just not, we're just not going to get it. They're not going to make Asian men the object of a woman's affection, especially a white woman's affection. They're just not going to do it. Like black men, the white moderates are extremely intimidated by Asian men. The only difference with black men and Asian men is that black men are not going to take it. They're not going to take it. They're going to fight. They're going to speak up, and they're just hot. So they're undeniable, and they stand in the undeniableness. So yeah, we're just not going to get Asian men platformed unless Asian men say something about it. And that's just with everything. DGF627 said the thing about US versus the UK managed to have funds to follow the darker skin. What are we talking about? What did I miss? The NNH said Irish and Italian people in America conform so they could get the numbers up against other minorities. Yes. And here's the thing. What we're dealing with right now is that there are no other people that could be graduated into whiteness. The Asian community, East and South Asian community, have been trying very hard to get grandfathered into whiteness, and white people are absolutely not having it. They are saying absolutely not. So there's no other community to grandfather in to whiteness. So we're in the situation we're in now. Because they're losing numbers, and they don't want Asians. They don't want Asians to be white. Even though they're ready, they want it, but they don't want that. They do not. It's just not going to happen. So that's why we're in the situation that we're in now. They're doing a coup. They're doing a coup. Instead of just giving Asians, East and South Asians, the pass, they said absolutely not. We're going to burn this thing down with everybody in it. Period. DGF also said the Irish and Italians struggle with assimilation because they held fast to their culture as collective societies. They weren't allowed to assign themselves. Yes, that's why when you see like poor working class whites, specifically Irish or Italians who have kept a form of their culture and identity from their motherland, that's why a lot of them are portrayed the way they are portrayed in media. Very shameless, right? Very, very Goodfellas. You either see them portrayed as criminals or poor welfare Barbies, because they have chose to keep their culture. Although they identify with whiteness, they have also decided to keep their cultural identity as Irish and Italian. And you cannot do that if you want to excel in whiteness. You got to let that go. And those who hold on to it stay at the bottom of the barrel. I Am Also Production said, going to the UK, I was like, the white people are different. Europeans and white people are just different. Absolutely. Kim said, and none of the cats are actually interesting. Even Virginia rocked me to sleep. She's a sweetie. But we need it, like, we need somebody loud. Winter said, you're right. What's her name tried to be different with support of BLM and quickly let it go in order to continue with Ben. Yep. Megan said, I literally had this show on as background noise as I scroll my phone, and I never do that when Love Is Blind is on. Yep. Yep. That Joe Rogan scene was my last straw. And did you see that? Let me bring up Mega Meg. Mega Meg threw out that Joe Rogan line to let the men know that she will fall in line. I listen to what you listen to. I agree with what you agree with. Whatever it is you want, my love, whatever it is you like, and still didn't get chose. They don't want you. They don't want the pick-me's. They want the women that are soaring. Why? Because they want to clip her wings and put her in a cage. They don't want the dummies that willingly walk in the cage. You're not interesting. Bye, Mega Meg. Kim said, and the girls who still got engaged to the guy who said he doesn't have an opinion on politics is a perfect example of white feminism. That's a great comment and a great discussion that we probably have in a larger scale. But this season was also an example of white feminism and how how white women are only feminists as long as it applies to them and them only, right? Because they were feminism about, diversity in the workplace and, taking down mediocre white men, but then they still voted for Trump, thinking that Trump was going to go after the Black woman and the Asian woman and the Native women that they envy. And then to find out that they are the biggest DEI demographic in the United States of America. And that's what they wanted. They used the others to entrap you. So you are going to be the first slaves in the United States of America. You are going to be the ones that can't get a job. So you're going to have to depend on them broke, inbred, dumb men that don't bathe. You're going to have to get one of them so you can have access to things in life. This is what your grandmother went through. Some of your mothers went through. Your great-great-great-great-grandmother went through. And I don't know if your granny told you about how it is. Mine sure did. That's why I'm not enslaved in a relationship with no man. If I happen to bless a man with my presence, and maybe take his last name. Trust and believe I want to be there. Trust and believe I got the money to get out. Trust and believe I won't stay at the site of any inconvenience because I don't have to. I have options. You will not, because you gave it away just so you can harm other people. You're not smart. You're not smart. And this is white feminism. They're feminists as long as it benefits them. And then as soon as they get what they want or what they desire, they lay it down at the feet of mediocre white men. And then what happens? 20 years later, they're harassing a Mexican kid pushing carts, his first job at freaking Walmart. Harassing that child whose family has been in America for 3 generations. Giving him the worst day in his life because she didn't get the life that she was promised because she was too dumb to realize that she has the same oppressor as people of color. Foolish. But we're watching it. We're watching it happen in real time. We're watching it happen in real time on this show. Even Sarah. Sad. Yep, Irene said, that's what I was about to say. They have a large Somali population. I'm confused as to why they weren't on. Same. Oh, hold on, child. Did you guys get notified about this live through YouTube? Let me know in the comments, because I didn't get an alert. And this is my channel. Anyway, yeah, I was confused. Maybe Somalis are just like, we don't need this. We're above this. Maybe. Silver Streak said, hi, Nikki. I love your special voice and awesome sense of humor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amaya said, it's interesting they filmed this a year ago. Seems like a perfect reflection of Trump's America. Bland. Yep, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. The NNH said the way the casting is done is questionable too. Casting is sliding in men's DM while the woman be filling out full application. That already puts one at a further disadvantage. Yeah, they don't do the work that they do to vet these men like they do women. DGF said Madison was manipulative. She knew she was going to get chosen while Meg went home. Yeah. See, this is the thing. Women like Madison, she's a man eater. She's a man eater. Like, she knows what to say. She knows how to dress, you know what I mean? She's used to getting her way with men. And I welcome it. Here's why. We need balance. We need man eaters. And we need more. We need balance. We need the humbling of the oppressor, right? So I don't mind it. But I think she was humbled in this process because she could not believe that the show was ending for her in the pods. She was gagged. Royally Coily said it just hit me that most of the stars and storylines that stand out in the past season were people of color. Yep. AD, Gianna. Is she Latin? Who knows, child? Ashley and Tyler, Lauren. Yeah. That we need diversity. We need it works. America is what it is because of diversity. Nobody would come to America if it was run, no shade, by the white community that we have now. Nobody would want to come here. No, it's not lit. It's not lit. The diversity makes it lit. It was so weird. And it was like a lot of black 90 R&B songs with this really white cast. Very weird. Yes, and I know that cost them a coin. So I was shocked. That no fault divorce, child. Like, why are y'all getting married and having kids? Woo! Have fun. The NNH said they definitely don't spend money on the trip or the weddings. Listen, at this point, the weddings might be at the community center at the apartment complex. That's where they film everything at this point. Hey, T. Kennedy Reeds, thank you for being here. Sarah said Ben literally changed his opinion with whatever Sarah said. Yep. She could have said she believes in a flat earth and he would have become a conspiracy theorist the next day. Yep. He's going to be whatever this woman who he knows that he cannot get outside of this process wants him to be. Let him talk enough. Let him just sit there in silence and let him speak. These women were not letting the men speak. They were giving them answers. And it was really giving desperate. JK Knight 316 said conservative men who want to hide it have a very specific way of speaking that's easy to spot from a mile away. But these white women know exactly what they're doing. Also, a lot of women feel like they can change a man. And we have to stop that. A lot of women feel like, oh, if he loves me enough, he'll change. He don't even love himself, honey. It's not going to happen. I tried, child. I tried. Dahlia said, thank you, Nikki. I hated the way the women set up questions. They do the same thing on Pop the Balloon. Yep. Ask an open-ended question and then shut up. Let these fools flounder in silence. Thank you for bringing that up. But I also think that the women do that because they don't want them to mess it up. Like, it's, I hate to blame women, but we gotta start somewhere, right? And I think a lot of women put themselves in situations that they know are just not going to be good for them. But they're hoping it'll turn out good. But it's like, that he's not it. You're going to try to force it. You're going to try to force your foot in that glass slipper. It's not going to happen. It's not a Cinderella. You are not. It is not with this one. This is not your prince. It's not going to happen. So I feel like a lot of them knew what the answer would be and decided to give these men an out. Ciao. We saw it from a mile away. The Nazi youth haircuts. Come on, we knew what it was. Eva Empathy said, "Don't get me started on Sarah and Ben. I couldn't be with someone who can't say they support Black Lives Matter with their full chest and needed. Side-eyed hard for taking him. Racism is not a deal breaker for white people or people of color. Racism is a deal breaker for Black people, especially Black women. Black men, I hate to say it, but it's the truth. A lot of y'all procreate with racist white women, with racist women. And you think just because those women are saying racist things about Black women that they do not feel the same way about you, and then you find out that the way they was talking about them sisters, they talking about you to their whole entire family. You find out in child support court. Dummy. But racism is only a deal breaker for Black women as a demographic, right? There might be individual people of these, that are not Black that's just like, I can't do that. But as a demographic, Black women, racism is a deal breaker. Pace URL. I'm not clocking. I'm telling you what I know. I've been there. Thank the Lord. Shout out to Barack Obama. Had that man not ran for president, I would have still been just crazy devout and in some church that I should not have been in. My body shivers thinking about who I would have been married to. Only by the grace of God will I have had cute children. My God, I'm thinking about it now. I'm just like, oh my God. Oh, Lord, those kids would have been funny looking. Jesus. But that's what church does to a woman's mind. And it starts around that age because church, and we live in America, right? Which is based off of white Christianity. So that's where all the patriarchy and, the guilt and abuse of people who look different comes from, because America is not really teaching the Christian faith. America is teaching white supremacist religion and like throwing the Bible on there. But if America was this Christian nation, it wouldn't be bombing the Palestinians backing out of there. But when you get to that age, right? I would have been like that at 27. I would have my mind would have just been in all of these spaces. But because that biracial brother with that phenomenal Black wife decided to run for president, it woke me up. That was like my wake up call. It woke me up out of Christianity. It woke me up out of, well, not Christianity, out of religion, right? White supremacist American Christianity, evangelical Christianity. It woke me up out of that. And with coming out of, that religious mindset, patriarchy falls off. Then you start decolonizing your mind and you just start to see things. It's really like the Matrix. You just start to see behind everything. You start to see behind the curtain and see who the wizard really is. It's not somebody to be intimidated by. You actually got the juice that the wizard wish they had. But that is the only reason why. I would have been a totally different woman. I would have been just like the woman in them pods. So I clock it, especially for my subscribers who are not yet in their 30s and my subscribers who are in their 30s. I'm clocking it. The early 30s, I'm clocking it for y'all so that you guys don't end up like these people. I'm going to stay there. She won't make the show. Because a woman who thinks like that will not get married to any of these men. It just won't happen. Average Aspect in the AM said, I just know the Mormon men hate watch your content and the Mormon women watching the secret crying because they've been tricked and trapped and you're the only person speaking up for them. Oh, thank you. Get out, ladies. Get out. Speaking as a kid, a child of divorce, I wish my mom would have got out sooner. Please don't say for the kids. The kids are suffering with you. The kids are suffering with you. Do not do it for the kids. Do it for you. Love Like You Are said when she saw Devin outside the pods and he was complimenting her, she kept saying thank you and not reciprocating it back on him because she don't want that man. She don't want the man. This is a desperate, attempt of getting somebody. Because just like, listen, I was hard on Devin because you have to be hard on men. But also with Virginia. Virginia is, thinking I'm this doctor, I'm like, we got to be honest here. We all do these things, right? Excuse me. He's going to do whatever I want him to do because I'm all of these things. And I always tell you, you can never humble a man. Don't go off. Don't be the rich girl, going after the broke man, thinking, oh, because I got money, he gonna treat me right because he know he ain't never gonna have a life like this if he ain't with me. So he not gonna do me dirty. No, he will. He will, because the machismo in him needs to humble you, so that he could feel like a man standing next to you. Oh, he ugly. He tender eyed. He looked like a Goomba. He gonna treat me right because he ain't never had somebody as pretty as me. He will humble you because he know he ugly. He knows that everybody is looking at this couple and being like, why are you with her? So he has to humble you so that he can feel like he is the prize in the relationship. Simone Biles, that woman is going to be written about in history books for the rest of her life, for the rest of the lifespan of the world. Her husband, who nobody still knows that man's name or occupation, got on a podcast, looked at her and said that he was the prize. Because he has to make that woman feel small so that he can feel tall standing next to her. Because he doesn't feel that way. Nobody knows his name. She is a multimillionaire. She is going to be written about for the entirety of the world's existence. Nobody will know him. They only know him as Simone Biles' husband. So he has to cut her down a size every time he gets a chance. Because the machismo in him is rotting his brain. That makes him feel like he can't be with a woman so great. So he's going to do his best to ruin her, ruin that marriage, ruin whatever comes with those kids if that happens. Because the machismo is rotting his brain. Patriarchy got him fooled. The life we're living in. The life we're living in. And we got women like Virginia who think, oh, I'm a doctor. He going to treat me right. You a doctor. He going to embarrass you at your workplace. I'm telling you. I know a few. Not like I've experienced, but I'm just saying. A lot of them is slanging. I'm just bums. Bums. And that hating sister. You do not know how much that scene pissed me off. Her sitting there in that Catherine's cardigan, turning her head to Virginia. Well, we're concerned about children because you are a little older. And she should have been said, well, I'm concerned about children for you as well because you are a lot larger. Yeah. Tit for tat. Let's do tit for tat. I'm also concerned about you procreating because you are a lot broker than me. Wouldn't want to put another baby on welfare. See, this is why the man I get, his family got to love me. Y'all not going to humble me. Y'all not going to talk to me crazy. Please, let's not do it. Please, let's not do it. Yes, absolutely. I agree with that as well. Adoption is there. Adoption and fostering is absolutely there. I'm not the one. I'm not the one for your disrespectful family. I'm telling you that right now. Please, please, the man that the Lord has for me, do your research. Do your research. 30 freaking 4. 34. And that sister in that medium Catherine's blazer going to turn to this lady, a whole doctor, and tell her, it's getting late for you. Can you have children? She should have punched her in her throat. That's so disrespectful. That's so disrespectful. Virginia, better than me. Virginia, better than me. And you can make, that's the thing. We have to change what a family looks like, what people think a family is, because we cannot say that a family is a man and a woman and children, because that's not the reality for a lot of people, right? There are people who are of the same gender who fall in love, who create a family. Two moms, two dads, two thems, two trans people. Like you, it's people have different identities concerning a family. And then there are some families where it's just a mom or a dad. Either that person was widowed or divorced, right? So now it's the mom and her sisters, or the dad and his sisters, or brothers, or siblings, or cousins. That's a family. And so many people are putting themselves in the wrong situation, getting with the wrong partner, living the wrong life, having the wrong kids, living a life completely in error because you're trying to make a family. And then you got the family and you're miserable. You don't like that person or them kids that came with it, because you had this idea of what a family should look like and when a family should happen for you. So you decided to make something happen, ignoring all of the red flags, because you have been convinced that you need to have this at this time. I will also say this. The election of Barack Obama opened up my eyes to a lot of things, specifically in church. I grew up in church, moved out to LA, went to like this really multicultural church, and it just really opened up my eyes because I realized that for a lot of people, a lot of non-Black people, race was bigger than God. And I just felt like I was in error, and I just started reevaluating so many things, and it really just opened up my mind to a lot of stuff. But another thing that really opened up my mind to this, and this was class, like, with the whole thing with Barack, it was race, it was religion, it was patriarchy, it was all of those things. But what opened up my mind to class was living in New York City. Living in New York City and going to school with all them rich kids. Working for rich people, coming out to LA, working for rich people and seeing the lives that they live. Let me tell you something. Rich people do not have the same idea of a family that the poor's do. The poor are working class. Y'all families don't look like rich families. Y'all families do not look like rich families. I was actually so gagged at the amount of rich women that I worked for who were having children in their 40s. And it wasn't because they couldn't conceive. It wasn't because they found their partner late in life. This was the time that they decided to do it, because they had the money to make stuff happen. Before it was popular, I knew about freezing eggs and freezing embryos and all of that stuff because I was doing the books for rich white women in New York, assisting all these people and finding out all this, reading all the stuff that they have to do, sending this here, picking this up here. I couldn't believe it. And then moving out to LA, and it's the same freaking thing. But one thing I'm noticing is that all of these people making these decisions that look crazy to me as a working class kid from Philadelphia is their money. They all had money to live the life that they wanted. They all had money to do what they want to do. One of the people I work for was just like, oh, me and my husband, we said that when we got married that our 30s were for us. What are you talking about? By the time you're 30 in working class neighborhoods, they got a 20-year-old. Like, but it's because children trap you. And we just have to be honest. When you do not have the money, children trap you. And that is how it is designed. That's how you keep the poor poor. That's how you keep the working class the working class. That's how you keep the middle class the middle class. If you talk to that middle and upper middle class, they got 2 kids. Going to the rich communities, it's 1. Elon, the only wealthy welfare baby I know about, and that's because that fool ain't got no money. He's stealing all the money from America. He don't have no money. The biggest welfare queen if we ever saw one. But that's how the rich live. They don't have a lot of children. And when they do decide to have children, they have their children later in life. Having children very young is for the working class because it changes the trajectory of your life, the poor and working class. And what happens? You have these children, you start taking jobs to provide for this new person, this family. You get married and you start taking these jobs that you never wanted to take. You wanted to be a writer, but you're married now, you got these kids. So what are you going to do? Become a day shift manager at Aldo? You don't want to do that job. You're more than talented. But now you have to take those things. And now you remain in a class that you are going to die in when you had the ability to uproot yourself out of poverty. But now you have this family to take care of, and that becomes your first priority. And so you will stay in this class, and then you will birth children in this class, and they will do the same thing because that has been defined for us what a family is supposed to look like. But when you get a little bit more money or you get around a lot of wealthy people, you realize their families look like whatever they want it to look like because they have the funds to live the life that they want to live. Y'all got to release yourself from this idea of what a family is. Poor and working class people are the only ones who think like that. Sarah said, I'm sorry, but the pig they had in the backyard was getting filthy to me. It was, yeah, it was, his family was definitely giving biracial shameless. Definitely giving biracial shameless. Oh, she looks great because she has the funds to keep up a certain kind of lifestyle that she's going to sacrifice to be with Devin. Because as soon as he can, he's going to get her pregnant. Chow. Dear Chow said, man said his pockets ain't working, but I want them funds you got. Absolutely. Nori's note said, Devin was looking at his family like, don't mess this up for me. He's fighting above his weight class. Yeah, his mama knew, but that sister, that hating sister, was trying to ruin everything. Kim said, does Virginia see herself? I mean, she's gorgeous and successful. I hope she says no at the altar. Well, here's the thing. I think Virginia does see herself, but if Virginia comes from a working class family, she has or poor working class family, she has a kind of identity that even though she has the funds to put her in a certain class, her world is a lower class. So she sees herself in that world. So she will be rushing to make a decision because that is her identity. Eva Empathy said, what's the consensus on Ben's friends? Hired actors or what? They were absolutely giving hired actors to me. And I've heard that about this show, that they do that and they get away with it by saying, oh, so-and-so's friends couldn't film, so we had to put this in. But if their friends could make it, this is what it will look like. That's reality TV for you. Denise said, as long as he signs that prenup, I think Virginia is a yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And women, we got to be honest. We do that, right? We all have planned our wedding. We don't know who that groom is, but we all, before we even started dating, we had that wedding planned. We know what it looked like. We know what it was going to be. We know what our dress looked like. We don't know what that man is going to look like because that is the idea that's been put in our head. Oh, you're going to grow up and you're going to be this wife and this mom. Nobody ever says, oh, you can grow up and be president one day, young girl. Oh, you can grow up and be a business owner. Oh, you can grow up and own land and build generational wealth for your family. or you can grow up and be whatever you want to be and travel the world and do whatever you want to do. You could be that. No, women, young girls, from the time we can hear, they're telling us you're going to be a wife and you're going to be a mom. And that's it. And if you want to be anything else, you're going to be punished for it. Um, and so that's what happens. Women just barrel into this idea. This is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. We've seen it with the creator of Beauty Bakery. Beauty Bakery joined the church, met a man, sold her business because that man told her that business was demonic. When I read that email from her that she sent out to all her customers, I thought the business was going under because she was losing money. Not that the Lord told her business was demonic. We're in a bad place. We're in a bad place. Dahlia says Sarah is a performance artist. Kudos to her because she had me for a second. But she chose that white Christian man. She never had me fooled. This is white feminism. This is white feminism. White woman will be an ally until it's time to get married. Until it's time to get married. One of my really good friends that I met at church, white woman. So fun. We had the same kind of views. Really, really enjoyed just getting to know her as a person. She started dating this guy. Good for her, you know what I mean? Because I was still heavily in church at that time, and it was around the time to start getting married. So I was like really excited for her. I'm really happy for her, and she wanted me to meet him. So we set up a lunch date where I went to go, meet her guy friend, and he was so sweet, and they just looked so lovey-dovey. And like right after the meeting, he asked me to be his Facebook, like Facebook requested me. And I was like, oh, of course, and I accept his Facebook request. That man's timeline was the scariest thing I ever saw. Not judging people from the South. I know you guys hunt and cook your food and all of that stuff, but his hunting stuff that he will post was just so scary. The way he would pose the carcasses, the things that he would say about killing those animals, none of it was ever about eating. None of it was ever about eating. It was just about murdering and slaughtering. It was just so scary. Then we got into his politics. And I said, what in the Hitler? I could not believe that this was the guy that I met at lunch and that this was the guy that my really good friend was considering to be her husband. So, me, in my little naive mind, for some reason, I thought she didn't see his Facebook. So I reached out to her and I was like, oh my God, girl, your man is like posting real cringy stuff online. Like, was he okay? What's going on? And she went to go look. She was like, oh my God, what? So, we're texting back and forth. And she goes to look at his page and she writes back to me, oh, Nikki, he's just from the South. What? And I was gagged because how could she be with this guy? With the conversations that we had, the things we talked about, the marches we would attend together, like we were on the same page and I thought, but then I realized that she wanted to get married. And so it did not matter how awful he was. She was getting herself a husband. And so I kindly blocked, deleted, and blocked her and that man. I ain't talked to that heifer since. She still emails me, blocked. Like if you didn't get the message then, I hope you got it now, girl. Blocked, 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 blocked. Enjoy your entrapment. Absolutely not. And the funny thing about it was not funny, very sad, is that there were so many girls in my church who went down the same road. They all got with these awful men. but they wanted a husband. They wanted their family. We would be in prayer groups and they would be crying and be like, oh my God, I'm turning 22 and I don't have a boyfriend. You know how crazy that sounds now? To hear a girl full of life, to hear a girl who turned down writing credits on a huge TV show that's still running because the man that she wanted to marry didn't think that his wife should be working. Do you know what that girl's residuals would have looked like today had she taken that writing job? Woo! We're in a bad place. We're in a bad place. But I said all that to say that's white feminism. That's white feminism. That's white feminism in a nutshell. Love Like You Are said, when Ben refused to call LGBTQ community as LGBTQ plus, LGBTQ plus community as LGBTQ plus or gay by saying that community. Yep. Sarah should have clocked that and dumped him immediately. She did. She did. But she's settling and she also thinks that she's the better person in the relationship. So she thinks because the way he's love bombing her, the way his community is love bombing her, that he will change and conform into her. That never happens. It never happens. Never ever happens. And I'm not saying, guys, understand I'm not saying this for all relationships. I'm saying relationships that's formed like this because there are several huge red flags that Sarah is overlooking. But she has a time, she's on a time crunch, right? She also has an idea of what her family wants to look like because 99.9% of the time, white people date and marry other white people. That community is really about protecting and preserving their race and their culture. I wish my people would get on that page, but you can lead a horse to water, child. So she has this life set for her. She has her wedding planned. She just needs the groom. And she thinks she has a man that will do whatever he can to appease her because she sees herself as the prize. We finally have a woman that sees herself as a prize and she's still settling. That's how sad the dating pool is for women. That's how sad it is. All right, I'm trying to get as many as I can before we get out of here. I got you on here for 2 hours. Teresa said Irish and Italians were given the police and fire department to earn their way into white acceptance. Absolutely. If you shout out to A&E and the History Channel, I mean, they just taught me so much. But I remember watching on the History Channel about JFK and how nobody thought that he would win because he was Irish. And I was like, I'm a child watching, so I'm like, he's white. But he experienced a lot of racism because he was Irish American. And at that time, they were like freshly white. You know what I mean? And a lot of WASPs were upset that a white person like that, like an Irish person, the lower class, was able to achieve such prominence and this such a high office. And that is because of my community. That's why the black people in the Kennedys, that other one, Robert, the one that talks like this, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what happened to him. But the black community and the Kennedys had a really good relationship. I don't know what's happening now. But my God, today, my grandma used to have a picture of him at home. She loved him. When John died, my family fell apart. We love John. Like, child, when we work together, we can get a lot done. Yes, because those are the lower class whites, and they're lower class, or they're not the acceptable whites because they have refused to abandon their cultural identity. Because whiteness is not an identity, unlike blackness, right? It's not an identity, it's a power structure. That's why it's so bland. That's why it's so cultureless, because it's just a power structure. There's no culture in it. The culture is slaughter. The culture is colonization. That's what white culture is. It's not a blanket white identity because it's a power structure. But when you refuse to abandon your identity as a, considered white person, you get this kind of treatment. But just like with white women, being number two, three, or four is better than being black. That's how a lot of them feel. Bree said, "Can we get into how Ben only does laundry once a month and Daniel has to be told to wash his hands? Blame them mothers. Blame them boy moms. Blame them boy moms. My God, today. Blame them. No way your son doesn't know how to bathe properly or wash clothes or wash his own clothes. That's on you. That's on you. Because when his big behind should have been washing and doing chores and really taking care of the house, you said, "Oh, I'll do it, son. Oh, I'll do it, or I'll make your sister do it." And now we have this situation now. The NNH said that man did not wash his hands on camera in front of his fiance. Oh, you received the notification. Great. I didn't. I didn't. Blue just said, "I do think white people should be more careful about this laws and regulations. Say what you want. Black, indigenous people of color are true to this. We are already down. It's other people who have things to lose." Absolutely. And I think the white people who get it, who have been, you know what? I won't call, I'm going to be more specific. The John Brown whites, I think they get it, but they've been fighting for a very, very, very long time. And, a lot of people get comfortable. And what it is, you get exhausted from this. Like I said, this is a black person. You just get exhausted with fighting for everything. But John Brown whites, you got to clock in again, baby. You got another shift. You got another shift. Dahlia said, Madison, like Dave, told people exactly who she was, and they refused to listen. If Alice could see her in person, he would have dumped her. You think so? Different perspective. Blue Jay said, "Does getting rid of no fault divorce really benefit men? Because what happens when they want to leave?" Oh, the men, they're absolutely going to make it easy for the men to leave. That's just for women, guys. That's why we're dealing with that's why we're dealing with abortion rights. That's why we're dealing with no fault divorce. This is all what we are dealing with is the wanting to enslave white women, right? So unfortunately, we all have to fall under that. But with this administration, I think they're going to just make it real blatant that this stuff is just for white women, because those are the ones that they need. White men who are in power are losing their number two, because their number two is starting to wake up. And so they're going to knock her back to sleep. E for Empathy said, "I'm so happy I didn't change my name when I got married. They're trying to pass something that prevents you from voting if your name on your ID doesn't match your birth certificate. Don't do it, y'all." Well, it's already happening now, not concerning voting, but with the ID. It's already happening with the trans community. Their IDs are being changed back to their dead identity. So be very careful if you are part of the trans community. Hey, TransStar family, be very careful with traveling, because they are going to use that to detain you. So just, be very careful about those things, and do not go to Dubai. Shivers. It all leads to the same road. It all leads to the same road. Kim said, "I'm from North Carolina. The fatigue wearing hunting whites are different. They were all at the Capitol on the 6th. Absolutely. Absolutely. And now they're all free. The NNH said, "It's always crazy to me. It's always crazy to me how a woman will deal with a man who has completely different views than them. The sacrifices are not worth it." Yep. We got to be equally yoked on everything. Cha said, "I know many women who put the pedal to the metal early 30s and just married whoever came along and in a hurry. Marriage is beautiful to the right person. Yes, church culture can truly have a shackle." Yes, and the church that I was talking about, all those girls that got married, all but two are divorced. All but two. And I think about one and a half, because she didn't fully come out. One and a half are gay. It was one girl who came out, and I was like, girl, that closet was glass, but it's not worth it. I'm not saying don't do it. You know what I mean? Like, love, a loving relationship to the right person could be a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. But I think we are so superficial and made to be superficial with how we choose people, right? We're choosing people for money. We're choosing people for status. We're choosing people because we're on a time crunch. We're choosing people because this is what society says. We're choosing people because this is who our church say that we should be with. We're choosing people because this is who our family likes. You need to find somebody that makes you happy. You need to be with the person that whenever you see them, just the sight of them or just the sound of their voice makes you feel like you're running through tulips in like the California mountains. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Be with somebody who you can laugh with. Be with somebody who you can agree with. Be with somebody who you can spend all day with them and not say a word, and it's the most special day ever. That's what it should be. When people say, I never believed it, or it never resonated with me when people will say, "Oh, marriage is difficult. Marriage is hard. Marriage is." Why y'all all say that? Y'all all say it's difficult because a lot of you are again with the wrong person, having the wrong kids, and living the wrong life. Your marriage is difficult because this is not your marriage. You're in somebody else's marriage. You're with somebody else's husband. They're with somebody else's wife. This was not supposed to be your partner. That's why it's difficult. Now, all relationships has their ebbs and flows. There's going to be difficulties. But a lot of you are constantly talking about how hard it is to be in this relationship with someone. And I am crazy enough to believe that it shouldn't be that hard or hard at all. Learning and getting to learn somebody, there's going to be trials and tribulations, right? The hard part of the marriage should be dealing with the sickness or the loss of a loved one, supporting your partner through that. Supporting your partner if they have a kind of breakdown. You know what I mean? Like, the hard part should not be just existing with this person. Like, they walk into the room, you get angry. Why are you there? Get out of that situation. You don't have to be there. It should be joy and fun and even the pain. You should be with somebody who, even when it's bad, you still want to walk through that fire with them because it's still good because you're with that person. Ah, there's a viral video right now on TikTok where a woman is she's dealing with fibroids. She's at fibroid cyst or something. She's crawling on the floor because she's in so much pain. And her husband, sitting on the couch, looks at her and says, "What's wrong with you?" And she can barely speak, so she falls over. She just says, "Oh, it's just my fibroids." And he's getting upset with her for being sick. Majority of men divorce their wives or leave them as soon as they get sick. A lot of you are married to people who, the minute you cough or can't perform for them sexually, they're out of that relationship. I'm sorry. You deserve better. You deserve better. Dahlia said, if you go on dating sites here in the South, all the men have pics of them hunting and fishing. They can get graphic. I think there's just something you should look out for. I know that that is Southern culture. Listen, I get, fishing and all of those things and, frying up a catfish and all that stuff. I understand. But that dude was posting some disturbing stuff concerning killing. Real creepy. Real creepy. Said that's why whenever I see women now moving into conservatism and trad wifeness, I just know in 10 plus years they're going to regret it. Absolutely. If they survive it. If they survive it. It's we're in a sad state for every damn body. Drewski says so many white girls will settle for the worst men to have one, and it always ends up with them compromising their ideals and eventually slowly embracing the husband while denying they've changed. Yep, yep. Um, Drewski said, shout out to my mom who only had boys but was a mother of sons instead. We were her princess, but she was the queen. And as such, the prince had chores, washed their own clothes, and would cook on Fridays. Yes, just raise a good human being. Raise a good human being. I'm telling you, I already know how somebody's going to be a parent when you're at their baby shower when they do that gender reveal. How the hell are you upset about the gender of your child? Like you see them gender reveals and they're like smashing cakes, they're running away, they're stomping, they're crying, they're upset because the human being that they're baking in their stomach is going to be a gender they don't like because they were hoping for something else. Hi, parents, that kid is not for you. The child, your children are not your trophies. Those are human beings who have their own minds. They did not choose to be here. You chose to bring them here. So, yes, you have to provide for them, but they are going to grow up and have different opinions. They might agree with you on some things, but that is an individual that is not you. That child is not put here on this earth to please you. They didn't make the choice to be here. You made that choice for them. The only one who is serving in that relationship is you. You are serving that child because you made the choice to bring them here. They don't serve you back as a child by doing what you want them to do or being the person that you want them to be, going to do the career that you want them to go into, marrying the person that you want them to marry, or be in this identity that you want them to be in. Newsflash, you may have a son who may grow up and change his identity to whatever. And you, as the parent, have to be okay with that because that is an individual. Yes, it is your child, but that is an individual, a person who has their own mind and their own life to live. Y'all need to stop having them kids for you. Have a child because you want to raise a good human being that will bless society and not curse it. And that's it. Don't have no kid because when you get old, you want somebody to take care of you. You can get old and get on them kids' nerves and don't none of them want nothing to do with you. They can either let you rot in that house that you're renting or rot in an old folks' home because you done got on everybody's damn nerves. Anyway, you can tell I was just watching TikToks about those parents that are now moving to Tennessee because they don't want to pay their kids because California just passed a law that if you are profiting off of your child by way of social media or especially in the entertainment industry, that 60% of the earnings that you make off that kid has to be put in a trust for that kid to be able to have access to when they are adults. So a lot of people who are using, or a lot of parents who had these kids just for profit are now moving to Tennessee where those laws do not exist. I learned during COVID that a lot of y'all don't like them kids. That a lot of y'all don't like them kids that you're trying to force other people to have. And this right here is a clear example. Why would you not want your child to have a trust fund of monies that will be available to them? Because anything could happen to you. At least that child will be financially taken care of. And instead of making sure that your child is financially taken care of, you want to go somewhere where you can pimp them for free. Every day I understand Gary Coleman a little bit more. Your mom did a great job, Drewski. Tell her we love her. Yes, thank you. The gender that they were assigned at birth. That doesn't mean that's going to be who they end up being as adults, even as teens, even as young kids, even as young kids. So you get mad, and that might not even be the gender that they stay with. Ciao. Anyway, Alma said, I remember Kimberly Foster saying that every relationship is a political decision. Absolutely. I've never forgotten that, and it changed the way I see other people's relationships. Absolutely. DGF said the militia-minded are all up in Michigan too. The auto industry, Detroit public school systems, and their unions and teachers had to be vilified with 50 years of propaganda to destroy Black Detroit. I was actually watching a documentary on PBS about Black Detroit and the destruction of it. I can't find it. I've been trying to find the name of it. I cannot find it. And I'm trying to before PBS is destroyed, I'm trying to, if you guys know it, please put it in the comment section. But it was really, really good. I didn't get through it fully, but it was really, really good. And it talked about the Black wealthy Mecca that Detroit used to be and how it was destroyed. Ciao. I'm also said the gender reveals are telling because they're always hoping it was a boy. Always. Always. Listen, no condemnation here. I had that same mindset too, right? Doing the work really just opens your mind up to a lot of things. But it's a hard pill to swallow because, a lot of people are having kids for, my legacy, or, because I want my kid to do what I was not able to do. No! Because what if your kid doesn't want to do that? Shout out to Towers and Tiaras. All those kids, all them little, what are they called? Beauty pageant kids have, no shade, sometimes tender-eyed parents who wanted to be beauty queens, who wanted to be in beauty pageants, but either didn't have the funds, their parents didn't have the funds or the desire, or they didn't have the looks. So now they have these kids and they're vicariously living through their children. You are not supposed to live through your children. You lived your life, let them have their life. You are there to provide and guide. That's it. Not manipulate and maneuver. That's it. It's a hard pill to swallow because we're all being raised or all in the society where it's just no, you have to have these kids so that they can carry on your legacy. What if they don't want to? Then what? You write them out the will, you banish them. What if they don't have the same likes or desires that you have, or political beliefs, or identity? Then what? You kick them out the house, and somebody else finds them. They find a house. They create a culture called ballroom, and now they're great and fabulous. And you're old and miserable looking at your children do things that you wish that you could celebrate them with. But you decided to throw them out at 15. Now they got another mother. Now they got another father. And you and your feelings. Oh, that's not your mother. I'm your mother. No, you threw them out because they weren't who you wanted them to be. And now you're on TikTok crying. My kids, I haven't seen my kids for 5 Thanksgivings. What did you do? They didn't turn out the way you wanted them to turn out, so you rejected them. So they created their own family. You're not needed. And now your feelings are hurt. Well, he was right. Did you see the documentary, the Gary Coleman documentary? He was right. He was right. Them parents scammed their own child. That kid was making millions back then when nobody was making millions, all to be an adult and have to live and die in a hotel? A Motel 6? Damn shame. Yep. Her and her crackhead boyfriend. And now the baby is on, Honey Boo Boo is now laid up with some black boy, culture vulturing, having all kinds of sex. Lord knows what's going on with that baby. So we both saw the same documentary. Yep. And to this day, still denying they robbed that boy blind. Sad. Sad. I'm gonna get 3 more and then we're gonna get out of here because I'm already over time. Dahlia said, when these social media kids grow up, the stories they will tell will be epic. Absolutely. The Duggars all over again. Yep. It's another family that they're doing that with right now. And I'm just like, it's going to get messy. Mario J said, yep, my dad used to say I was an extension of him and put these unrealistic expectations placed on me and then had the nerve to be upset when I didn't meet those expectations. Didn't let you be an individual. DGF said, I have an autographed copy of The Origins of Urban Crisis, Race and Inequality in Post-War Detroit, updated edition by Thomas J. Shigru. You know what? Let me take a picture of that. That seemed like a good read. What is it? Command Shift. There we go. Because I'm going to read that. Thank you for that suggestion. Yes, DGF. See, we educated in the Star family over here. Oh, shout out to anybody who's just joining me. I'm so sorry. We always go on these social tangents over here. Sorry. Sorry, guys. We are hella woke on this channel. We're going to end with Amma. Amma said the Honey Boo Boo girl now is doing nails and lashes locally. My God, today. My God, today. She would have had to if she had all her money. Yeah, she should be a multimillionaire. Now she's a lash tech. My God, today. Anyway, guys, I love you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to give me about 15 minutes to put all the stamps, the time stamps in here. Also, just to let you know, when I did my Cali Fire video, I said that I would be putting links on where to donate or how to give. Listen, there is still a lot of people that need help out here. I didn't put it in that video because I needed to research some things, and I'm glad that I did because some stuff that I would have shared was not legit. It was a little funny after them during the Cali fires for a minute. A lot of schemation was going on, so I needed to make sure that everything was right before I shared it because I don't need my people getting scammed by way of me. So I am going to put links in that video, but I'm also going to do a separate video to show how you guys, if you desire to, can still help the people in California who have been affected, LA specifically, who have been affected by these fires. So just give me a few minutes for this one. Look out for that fire video that I'm going to do. And also tomorrow, if not 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If I go to the gym, probably 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to do a reality TV chat live. We're going to talk about Beverly Hills. We're going to talk about Potomac. We're going to talk about The Bachelor. And then we're going to talk about Drag Race. So look out for that. Thank you so much, DGF, for the super sticker. Thank you all so much for supporting me and still hanging on. I know my schedule has been all over the place, but guys, you're praying for me, and I thank you because the Lord is hearing them. And your girl is booking. Keep them prayers coming. Anyway, I love you all. Cha-ching! Thank you, DGF. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow sometime soon. Love you very much. Good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you so much for being a part of the Star family. Thank you so much for having these conversations. Thank you so much for laughing with me. Thank you so much for even being messy and giving me the tea. I love how we come here and have a good time, but we also support each other like crazy. And we also learn so much from each other. I often pray and wish that the world would take a note from the Star family because it's such a beautiful place to be. Thank you all so much. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Night. We love you, Conrad. Oh, yes, we do. We love you, Conrad.